Namaskar. Hello and welcome to 𝗞𝗏 Guru's channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. Joining me today is 𝗤𝗏 𝗏𝗏𝗏 as we look at events happening around the world. A lot of things to share. Now let's first welcome 𝗤𝗏 𝗏𝗏𝗏. 𝗤𝗏 ji, Namaskar and welcome to 𝗞𝗏 Guru's channel. How are you, sir?
Jai Siya Ram, Radhe Radhe, all good and fine by the kripa of Lord Mahakal and your Ashirwad, sir. Namaskaram to you and all the viewers across the world.
Thank you so much, 𝗤𝗏 ji. 𝗤𝗏 ji, we have a slide deck. This is more going to be like a conversation between the two of us as I walk our viewers through two big events that are happening in the United States. One of them appears to be a parting kick to Trump, and the second one could also be seen as a parting kick to Trump. So this is just my interpretation of what events have happened. People may agree or disagree with me. Second event, first one is definitely a parting kick to Trump. So we can take a look at these things first, and then we can I'll let you come in and you can weigh in on that stuff.
Sure, sir.
Can I have the slide deck, please? Thank you. So what are the real reasons behind the spread of California wildfires? I'll come to the parting kick of Biden to Trump after we finish this one, because this is the most important one. Many of you may have near and dear loved ones in the Los Angeles area. So I want to kind of dispel that if you have any fears that things are getting better. Today, the air quality also has improved considerably. Many people have been able to go back to their homes to take a look at what is remaining. Amazingly, Tom Hanks, one of the most popular Hollywood actors, his house is untouched. 𝗤𝗏 ji? Around him, all houses gone except his house.
And Tom Hanks, if I remember correctly, was the same guy who said, if Trump is elected, I'll leave United States of America. Is it the same guy?
No, I don't think so. I'm not so sure.
This somewhere. Yeah, I think it was
Tom Hanks is the Apollo 13, Forrest Gump, that sort of guy.
Yeah, I know that. If I remember correctly, there was somebody who also said, if Modi gets elected, I'll leave India, but he left the world. So
yeah. So let's take a quick look. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
You carry on, sir. You carry on.
Yeah, so let's take a quick look at what happened. Why this huge fire? Why wasn't the much famed fire department unable to put it out? Or why wasn't it able to put it out? First of all, the firefighters battled the flames early Wednesday morning. Today we are on Saturday night in India, Saturday morning in LA. And the water tanks supplying the Pacific Palisades ran dry. Wow. Pacific Palisades is a neighborhood, and that is the worst affected. A complete area has been flattened. Now, what happened? The reservoirs were full before this thing started. So it's not as if the reservoirs had no water. What really happened was, when they needed the water most, there was no water left. So, every street has a fire hose. Unlike in India, in US, that's a very, very well-planned, 𝗤𝗏 ji. Every street has a fire hydrant because all houses are made of wood. All houses, 99.9% of the houses are made of wood with concrete frame. But the reason is for earthquake purposes, so that even if a wall were to fall on you, right, you'll get a few bumps and aches. You won't break bones. So, there is a fire hydrant in every street, and once they turn that thing open and connect a hose, they get water and they can hose anything down. What happened here was there was no water left. So why did it happen that way? We are going to take a quick look at that. In fact, it is believed that all the 114 city water supply tanks were fully pre-stocked before fire, because we had a good rain this year. I mean, there was something called as an atmospheric river. Atmospheric river is something where you get buckets and buckets of rain. We got that kind of rain this time. It was something else. So then what happened? Because what they said was, in the initial response, they pushed the water supply to the extreme, and the demand was strained for 15 hours straight. See, let me play out a scenario for you viewers. Right now, people are still testing to see if there was one particular fire that was started in a particularly dry area, especially up in the hills, where the wind blew it towards the houses and then took the houses along with it. Couple of videos on social media. We've got a bunch of links for you. You go and click on them. You might see one or two, because there is one video that came that they saw two people set the first fire. How did they find it? They have satellite imagery. Every 5 minutes, there's satellite imagery, right? The satellite goes over the area. So they have looked at it and they found out that this is the first fire that was being set. And it appears like two people set it. Now, the LA police and the mayor are coming around to the view that, yes, this is possible. In fact, we're going to show you one specific instance of a man caught with a hand in something to incendiary stuff that you can set anything on fire. He was caught by civilians. So take a quick look at that one first. See here, the guy who is the one in his left hand is the flammable thing, and a civilian arrested him. They used zip ties to hold his hand, put him down, waited for the police to come. Waited for the police to come and take him away, and they expected that he will be charged. This man is a homeless guy. He is.
He's going to come over here and light up this area.
Oh my gosh! No, this is crazy. I can't even
See
believe it.
there?
I'm like
a 30-year-old guy, you know.
crazy because I'm like, how does a fire jump literal cities?
I know. I can understand there, but all the way over
Exactly.
to West Hills,
That doesn't make any sense. Okay. Thanks for letting me know, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was one instance, and let's go to the next one, please.
Additional investigative steps, looking at some additional evidence that was.
Okay, so he was caught, right? Now look at the police spokesperson telling, we are going to let him go. Let's listen to that.
Suspicion of arson, and therefore this person was arrested on a felony probation violation. Interviewed this suspect.
But it's not a crime that has to be arrested.
And additional investigative steps, looking at
It's too low.
some additional evidence that was present, they made the determination that there was not enough probable cause to arrest this person on arson or suspicion of arson, and therefore this person was arrested on a felony probation violation. This investigation is ongoing, however, and I'd like to thank those community members that were involved in this and helping us bring this person to our attention, and so we can have an ongoing investigation. The second point I want to talk about.
Okay, last one, please.
To Pico, and people are lighting fires now. You can see
that?
they lit a fire. These guys, not all the people there, but some of those guys lit that fire, and they're actually the trees caught fire, and then the palms are catching fire. So civilians are now lighting fires down in the so-called flats around Santa Monica, Venice. So.
Okay, so this is a different city.
Out there.
Fire department. Sumiji, 3 or 4 cities are badly affected. 3 or 4 cities are badly affected. Number 1, Pacific Palisades. Number 2, Bel Air. Bel Air is multimillionaires live there. Number 3, Hollywood area. Number 4, Malibu. Malibu is where even the A-list actors have their homes. That's where, there is this guy called Mel Gibson. He's the guy who, macho guy. Mel Gibson was giving an interview to Joe Rogan, and his house was actually burning down. City is so sad. So lot of damage, and the last one you saw was a place called Santa Monica. See, Bel Air is at the hills. Okay, when you come down to the sea, the coastal area is called as Santa Monica. Okay, next one, please. The high demand at lower elevations slowed down refilling tanks for higher elevation. Okay, so think about this way. There was water in the reservoir. Almost all the water was used up to try and put the fire out in the plains. Now, as the hill started catching fire, wind was driving it all over. There was no water left because the pressure was not there to drive it up there to run the hoses on. So the speeds of 85 miles per hour winds at that speed, you can't use an aircraft to dump water because the wind will blow it away. So you don't know where to dump the water, so it will go on the fire. You see what I'm saying? It gets all over the place. So winds were too high to send up aircraft to douse blazes for the first 24 hours. So all these things, plus there were other reasons that led to this whole thing happening. This is the other reason. Governor Newsom cut fire budget by about $100 million months before lethal California fires. You know the kicker in all this, Sumit, the kicker in all this, some of the areas where the fire has completely gutted, 2 months ago, the insurance companies stopped writing for fire insurance.
Wow.
So there is no insurance.
No, this is a very important point. Why? And how there's such a coincidence?
Yes. That's why I feel this is also a parting kick to Trump. $675 billion is the loss so far. I think so. I read it and my eyes blew away. I said, $670 billion, that sounds a little high. But hear this. One city, that one big neighborhood called Pacific Palisades, completely gutted. But the other ones are all high-value homes, Beverly Hills, Bel Air, and Hollywood area, and Malibu, and so on and so forth. All these are very high-value areas. So that is where things stand. So now the next thing is we are going to talk about Putin meeting Trump. I'll yield the floor to you. Please feel free to add to what we have discussed so far. Then we can go to the next topic.
I think what we understand prima facie here is that, first of all, fire cannot jump from places to places to place. Usually fires gets concentrated around an area. If it's jumping from cities to another, there has to be some human intervention in it. You can't only blame it on the winds and the weather. Second thing, what is astonishing is how did they cut $100 million budget on the fire? I mean, out of everything on earth, why to cut on fire? Third thing is, how did insurance companies stop insuring a particular neighborhood which got gutted? Fourth coincidence is, how does a particular actor with a particular ideology have his house saved and others get gutted? Now, what I'm trying to say here, and the sixth thing is, if you're talking for $675 billion of loss, we are talking around $0.7 trillion. Probably speaking, it's now not a billion; it's now heading to $1 trillion figure. Now, $1 trillion in any part of the world is big. I mean, a lot of countries don't have even a GDP of that sort. It's twice the GDP of Pakistan. So it's more than 2.5 times the GDP of Pakistan. Now, if that kind of a thing happened, and it happened in 5 days, and your reserve was going down, all the water, then your fire here, sir. What my submission is, after looking through your beautifully put facts, figures, and data, my submission is it is all orchestrated. It is all man-made. It is all man-made. Now, are we looking to some kind of a new fire jihad? It can be even a fire jihad. Who knows? I mean, there can be, we have land jihad, we have law jihad. Are we looking at something as a fire jihad? Is fire jihad the new norm of the world? That is something which I am contemplating. Now, point number 2, look, Trump was trying to hit China. Trump was trying to impose, remove this PTNR status, which could have costed China around $600 billion to $1 trillion in their exports. Now, before Trump comes to the office, we've seen a $675 billion gutted. So forget what you can do. You already lost $675 billion. And Trump used to always say, if I stop business with China, I have a trade deficit of $600 billion that can be stopped. So it might be a coincidence, but it doesn't look to be a coincidence. Remember Trump talking about there are 70,000 able-bodied men and women of military age which have infiltrated United States of America, which have origins from PLA and CCP. They've infiltrated to Mexico, through Canada, through various other people. Now, look at the precision. The precision is very correct. And it is a precision which is failing the American, these firefighting system and all the houses and all the high-tech infrastructure. That is failing it all. So, unless and until some meticulous planning, some meticulous military precision is used, where you are exactly targeting the areas, where you start to fire in the planes when the people come here with all their guns blazing, that is the fire cannons and all, then the fire goes here, then the fire goes here. So basically at the top there's nothing you can do, and it's not difficult to predict the wind. 85 miles per hour, the wind speeds that can be seen from any of the weather broadcasts. Now, putting on all these things together, one thing we always remember in geopolitics and politics, there are not too many coincidences. Too many coincidences can never be true. And all this happening, and especially when Trump has to come back to office. And if we look at Middle East, if we look at Russia, if we look at so many things that are happening, and out of that, forget what you are going to do in Middle East and what you are going to do in Taiwan. Now you have a problem back home. Usually, when you put a country or when a country gets to such a fiasco, the immediate priority of any government or an incoming government is to damage control. So when you are in a damage control mode, the people on the other side see this as a window. So what in military terms, you use a term called smoke screen. Is this a fire screen which has been built? Because if there's a smoke screen, it's true, this is a fire screen which is being built. Now, she said, let's not leave our things from the dart. The things on the dart are that Iran is 1 week away from making a nuclear bomb, maybe 1, 2, or 3 weeks. So if you have such a big fiasco happening in United States of America, doesn't that give Iran and all a complete leeway to do whatever they want to do? There was an imminent plan of attacking Iran's nuclear facilities, though that Operation 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗿, what we discussed last time, that was carried on. But all these things, if I look at this fiasco happening in the United States of America, now we have seen people were carrying these bottles of inflammable liquids and everything. So everything doesn't seem to be right. There is a visible, clear signs of human intervention somewhere. And geopolitically, Iran, Houthis, China, they'll be very happy with what's happening in United States of America. Even the people in the defense industry, because Putin and Trump are talking of already stopping the war, and a lot of things which are happening in the world, and with this fiasco happening, and America not being able to have a response and kind of action which we expected, because it is beyond the human control now. I clearly see a pattern here, and this is something which has to be investigated. And if these things continue, I've been always telling, sir, in today's time, you don't need a nuclear bomb. You don't need even chemical weapons. You just need few rogue people with a crooked mentality to break your system within. Sabotaging is the low-cost espionage, is the low-cost warfare, which can be any day imposed on you. Chinese coming and hitting America is very, very difficult. But finding around 100K crazy people or 50 crazy people and who can do it. And let's not forget, Sree sir, Iran tried to assassinate Trump. There were 2 or 3 attempts made on Trump. And one last attempt, there was a clear Iranian hand. If Iran could try to assassinate Trump in America after being president elected, why can't Iran go and do this? I mean, I don't see it as a possibility which can't be done. It's much difficult to assassinate Trump, but it is much easier to burn a few cities in the United States of America. I mean, if we prima facie look at it, when you have enemies when you have China like an enemy, you have Iran like an enemy, and a very rogue nations controlling rogue armies of terrorists and those sycophants and those crazy jackasses, it's not very difficult to do what they have done. So, I mean, this is something which is worrying. And as usual, Democrats are doing nothing. Democrats are just sitting on their backside and scorch earth policy. No, it's not scorch earth policy, it's burn earth policy. Burn everything.
Scorched earth. Zameen ko jala dena. Zameen ko jala dena.
This is what Hitler used to do. When Hitler used to recede, he used to burn everything. So is it something kind of a Hitler ideology which is coming into play? Because George Soros getting the highest civilian honor of wildfires, now American missiles being used, and last episode we discussed, even at the time of going, you're giving another $500 million to Zelensky. Right? Over to you, sir.
Yes, thank you, Sumiji. And there is one other parting kick that Biden has given to Trump, and this is definitely a parting kick. What he has done is he has taken about 900,000 illegal immigrants coming from Venezuela. Let me just read out the countries: Venezuela, El Salvador, Ukraine, and Sudan. Okay? Sudan. And all of them will get to stay for another 18 months. And for those 18 months, they get additional work permits also. Okay, so this is one set. Then Haiti also has, I think, some thousands of people who are also on work permits. I don't know how many people were brought in from Afghanistan. These are people perhaps deserving, because they were helping the American government when America was there. And when they evacuated, they brought back some of the close ones because they were afraid that there would be retribution from Taliban for them. So these are all the things. But by delaying their exit by 18 months, essentially, Biden has tried to put like a पैरों पर कुल्हाड़ी मार दी. He has really stick it to himself. So he's really sticking it to Trump that, you're not going to run far, not with these kinds of things that I'm going to do. And I just don't understand. This has never been done by any US president. It's like this guy doesn't care. This guy just doesn't care. Biden doesn't care what he's writing. Maybe he's not in his full senses. Who knows? So, Sumitji, these are the things that that's the next party kick from Biden. If you would like to add to that, feel free. Then we can go to the next one, which is Trump wanting to meet Putin.
Correct. And then we have to touch a bit on Middle East as well. Now, look, when you talk about this story, this is a very interesting part of it, because there is this TPC provision, which is a provision within the United States Constitution where the president has the mandate to use it. There are a lot of discretionary mandates which are provided by the Constitution of the United States of America with the president, with the belief and with the assumption and presumption you will do it with all the honesty because you have taken a sworn oath. Now, when you are trying not to deport these people, you are typically putting a spanner in what Trump is going to come, because he was trying to come and he was trying to deport a lot of people illegal. So what you are doing, you have given them a legal indemnity which you can't touch them for 18 months. Now the challenge here is that you have still 11-12 days to go in the office, and if you go at this rate, now Sree sir, you and me used to talk about we have 1.5 million illegals in United States of America. So if you go at this rate, you're hitting around 1 million in a day. So in next 10-11 days, we can hit all the 1.5 million. Give all them from TPC. So Trump will come and he say, what the F, man? I can't do anything because my hands have been tied. So it is absolutely that Hitler kind of a Nazi mentality what we are seeing, or is it really the deep state which is calling the shots? Now today, I don't see who's really controlling US. Is it Democrats or deep state, or have they become synonyms? You can replace each with the other. Because when I see an award given to George Soros, when we see these weapons being given to Zelensky, and when we see the Secretary of State talking, we have given 100 billion in cash to Ukraine. I mean, what the hell, man? And you're paying the salaries of Ukrainian, Afghani employees from American exchequer's money. And that too, the things are kind of, and I was very amazed when Jack Sullivan conveniently goes to Biden. I said, look, I have a plan to attack Iran's nuclear facilities. And there's one news agency which conveniently puts the plan out and said, look, there was a plan, and Jack Sullivan told, look, and what does Iran do? Iran puts all its might to protect our strategic nuclear assets. Usually, if an attack like this has to happen, nobody should know. Even why should you and me know? Now, it's not you and me know. 9 billion people on planet Earth know about it. So what did Iranis do? They put all their might to protect those strategic assets. Now, with all those things happening, what we are seeing here is, I think every process, every step which is being taken by Biden or Democrats or deep state is to basically, weaken Trump and to make this world a more dangerous place. I think the thing which they are using against Trump is that you pardoned your son. You used your discretionary power. Look, buddy, if you can use your discretionary powers here, why can't you use it here? Why can't you use it here? Why can't you use it here? So, for Trump, you have so many problems to begin with. You don't know where to start and where to end. And besides that, you will have legal hassles. You will have a Supreme Court to answer. You will have these expensive attorneys who will come and fight for these people. And though all of these people are poor, but when it comes to hiring lawyers and all, they will have the best law firms defending them. That's a different case of the deep state. Now, with all these things happening, we are bound to think in 10-11 days to come, which is 10 days from now in the United States of America, who is calling the shots? Because everything what you are doing, and even this, you're given you used all your special sanctions to give weapons to Zelensky. Even in the last day, you're giving him $500 million more of weapons. So the challenge is that you are trying to do everything which must not be done. Because I read a piece of somewhere wherein Joe Biden has officially stated, I had the best chance against Trump. So now he is coming and saying, Kamala was a screw up. You could give it to Kamala. That was a screw up. You should have given me. I had the best chance against Trump. So that means, Sree sir, there are two problems here. One problem is I want to settle scores with the Republicans and under Trump. That is Democrats versus Republicans. Second is deep state running the America. Okay, you are my guy. Go and do it. You owe me favors in my life. Third is you Democrats, you trusted Kamala over me. Now I will put you in a position that you will never be back to power for next at least 4 terms. So these can be 3 different things which are working together. Because, and at the end of the day, there's one more dangerous man which still lives freely in America, is 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗿. You don't know what he's up to. Is he trying to give time to Iran? Is he trying to give time to China? What is he doing? Because we are going to cover a lot of things on tomorrow's morning episode, Endgame China. Now, what are the things that are happening vis-a-vis here? And who is going to benefit from all this? I think Chinese Communist Party and Islamic Republic of Iran, they're the two biggest beneficiaries of the fiasco which is brewing in the United States of America. And who is going to pay the price? American people, Europe, and the global economy. Europe is already paying a heavy price for that. And of course, Zelensky is having his last champagne. That's a different issue. But that is what my take on this would be, looking at it, sir. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Sumit. Now, what happened a couple of weeks ago was Trump sent his trusted friend, to go meet with Putin. And they were trying to explore ways to bring the Ukraine-Russia war to an end. And now Trump is saying that, well, it's a little difficult to stop it on day one. And what he has expressed is a desire to meet with Putin as soon as he gets into office. And he said that, I know he wants to meet. So basically, he's sort of kind of sure that he's going to want to meet. So there is actually a warrant against Putin. So Putin cannot come to US. And we don't know where they are going to meet, but that'd be an interesting neutral ground where they are going to meet. But definitely, if the meeting happens, I have a feeling that the ice would be broken and some sort of an agreement would be reached. Even as this is happening, 2 sanctions have been put on 2 Russian petroleum producers. The Brent crude has jumped up by $2.50 last night. So this shock will happen from tomorrow in India also. And you know how it is, Sumitji. When the crude price goes up today, the pump price goes up immediately. When the crude price goes down, this takes its own slow, small time to come down. You say, oh, no, we have inventories. Some kind of everything, they'll give you explanations, excuses for why it's not coming down. So that is another problem. Not only that, yesterday Trump was sentenced, but no time in prison. But what is going to happen is they're going to have a convicted felon in front of him. This is like I was making fun. I had a monologue as soon as that happened. If you remember in 𝗣𝗏𝗏, right? Amitabh Bachchan as a kid has a hand tattooed.
Ispe kya likha hai?
There it's, what is it written here, right? My father is a thief. Mera baap chor hai. So something like that, Democrats will keep on saying every time they refer to President Trump, they'll say, convicted felon President Trump said today. Just get ready for this, okay? After some time, your mind will start filtering out the first 2 words, and then you will start absorbing news. This is what I think is going to happen. You would like to add to that, and then we can catch up on Middle East. We have about 10 minutes, and then we can go to QA.
Sure. The point here is that, look, Putin around 10 days back already indicated, look, I am ready to meet President Donald Trump, and I think we will have a good meeting. And he presents this place called Slovakia. Slovakia is a member of NATO and is a neutral country where Putin can go and Mr. Trump can come, they can meet. It is also it's also known that he appointed, Mr. Donald Trump appointed a person called General Kellogg's, ex-general, as a special envoy for this Russian-Ukraine conflict. Now, for outgoing NSA, Jacques Sullivan said, look, they have to trade for land, Ukraine. Very recently, we covered Macron also said the same thing. Look, Ukraine, you have to trade your land because nothing major can change on the land. So there's a consensus building in the Europe, in the overall community, wherever it is, it will happen. Zelensky insisted on NATO production, and Putin says that is not happening. Now, Trump is saying, look, if people want to be in NATO, they have to pay. He's asking Germany to take the 5% of the fee. 5% of the expenses if you want NATO's protection. And he's asking that everybody has to foot the bill. So NATO is in a bit of a jeopardy. Now, honestly, Putin thinks that he can meet Trump. Trump wants to meet Putin, and they can come on a common ground with Slovakia, whichever country. And in that country, they can really do how to settle the war. Zelensky has today told that days of war are limited. For the first time, we are hearing this from Zelensky because he knows when Trump comes to the position, his new arms and ammunition coming from America and the money coming will stop. As his license to use these ATCAMs on mainland Russia will stop. And thirdly, the biggest thing that will stop is the money, is the liquid cash which is coming from the United States of America will stop. So now But as if you do the analysis, I think Ukraine has good around 2 to 3 months of their godowns filled with all the basic ammunition which they need, which has been already given to them or which they have already procured. So with around 3 months of ammunition which is already there and which has been already procured, it makes a bit difficult proposition for these guys to really think what they are going to do and how they are going to do it next. Now, if this continues to be the trend, but even within 3 months, the war has to end, because Russians have the advantage because of the North Korean soldiers and the better arms and ammunition and all. So the war has to end. So with this war ending, a lot of things in the geopolitics will change, because Russia-Ukraine war ending means pressure on Iran and pressure on China. So Iran and China will do everything in their command to make sure they either hit American interests or hit American allies, where America has to go and divert itself. So this Trump and Putin meeting is very, very important and should happen soon. But will this be sabotaged? Will it be scuttled? Will there be a lot of trouble brewed for Trump so that he can't do this meeting? Yeah, that is quite possible that all trouble can be brewed and this meeting can get delayed. Though both of the leaders have officially kind of acknowledged and admitted, yes, they are going to meet, and that is where it is going to happen. They meet in Israel. I think Israel is also a good option. You know, why the Slovakia was suggested by Putin only, a NATO country but a neutral country. So, you know, that is where it kind of looks to me. From here, let's go to the Middle East. So this is where our Trump is. Look, there is a very interesting aspect which is happening in Middle East. In Middle East, now Iran is accelerating its bomb production. They, as per the experts, few thousand new cyclotrons wherein you do the enrichment have been added. Iran is the only non-nuclear country which has successfully done 60% of the enrichment, and at 90% of the enrichment you can make the bomb. The time to make a bomb in Iran is practically anything now, right? And Iran has put this Operation 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗏 to protect all its strategic nuclear sites. Iran is preparing for war and is preparing for an imminent war. Now, if we look at Israel, the hostage deal is still going nowhere. Now, tonight, it's most likely Benjamin Netanyahu will give green light to the head of Mossad and head of Shin Bet to go to where? Qatar. In Qatar, you already have Steve Witkoff there. Who is Steve Witkoff? Steve Witkoff is the envoy, Middle Eastern envoy of Trump there. So now between Shin Bet, Mossad, Qatari intelligence, Turkish, I don't know, are the Turks involved or not, but they will all try to negotiate a deal. What is going to happen to the hostages which are there? So this is seen as a last-ditch effort to really get the hostages deal sorted out. But if it does not happen, if it doesn't happen now, so you can take it that it is not going to happen. Now Trump already saying that if that hostage deal doesn't happen, I have to break open my doors into Middle East. That is where the worrying aspect is. Houthis are alarmed to the teeth. By the way, yesterday Israelis went and bombed Houthis. The 20 Israeli planes went and they beat a lot of shit out of Houthis. They bombed them a lot. But still Houthis have a lot of underground facilities, a lot of procurement, a lot of crude technology which they are using to integrate weapons is out of Yemen now. So Houthis are a problem which you have to live with. And Iran is very clear, look, I'm going to use Houthis as and when it happens. So there's one more interesting aspect of it. And with this American and Iranian fiasco happening, Iran has indicated, look, we are almost there to make a bomb, right? And we have to put it on a guided missile or a ballistic missile and test it. And in all probability, it will work. Now, Iran is indicating, look, if you want us to stop this, you have to start talking to us, right? Now, the question you will ask me, how is Iranis are not talking to Americans. How is this happening? Well, this happens in the E3. What is E3? E3 is 3 European countries, which is Germany, which is France, and which is UK. Now, 𝗏𝗏𝗏 has been, as I told you earlier also, 𝗏𝗏𝗏, the foreign or the external affairs minister of Iran, has been engaging with a dialogue with these 3 countries. Now, in a recent dialogue, he has indicated that if Americans show us, they are ready to talk, they bring down a bit of sanctions, and this threat of attacking our nuclear arsenal is taken out, we can possibly halt or slow down our enrichment. And if this Trump's policy of full pressure continues, we might even walk away after all the treaties and all. Then we'll see what happens. Now, the problem is with this fiasco happening between America and Iran, the Europeans believe that their economies are now suffering. So now European countries are looking for their thing in this cake. What do we get? What do we lose? Now, if we look between France, Germany, and UK, everybody has different set of interests. But what everybody does not want a war. Everybody does not want a radiation leak. Nobody wants a Chernobyl kind of a situation which can brew. And now, with Iran's proxies having the capability to attack anybody's oil fields with the 𝗠𝗙𝗏 hypersonic missile, which they have shown the capability. So, if they start attacking the oil fields of the countries which are allies of America and American interests, it will be something very, very difficult for America to manage. And there's a lot of pressure being put on Giuliani, ask Israel to vacate from Syria, which Americans are not conveying to the Israelis. Israel has send a big PO for bombs. 20-30% will be shipped, rest will be shipped in 1 year's time. Israel is busy buying bombs, and if you look at today within the Israel, what the reports are suggesting, the biggest production is happening in the arms and ammunition industry of the Israel. Even a lot of traditional industry has been shut down and converted into arms and ammunition industry, because what Israel needs is more and more and more bombs. So that is what is happening in Israel. Now, tomorrow or within maybe next 2-3 days, if we hear something, it is going to happen, because Benjamin Netanyahu will be given the best shot, sending his internal agency and external agency chief to Qatar and seeing if something can be worked out. But there are always surprises in the Middle East. We don't know what can happen, what may not happen. With Egypt moving its force in advance to the Sinai, that changes the paradigm again. Giuliani's again round robins are happening, and in this and with the same things happening, India getting very, very close to Taliban. The Taliban warming up to India changes the paradigms again. Now you have a player, Pakistan, which is carefully watching how the things are happening. You have a player, China, which is trying to ferment a lot of trouble under the carpet, which Americans don't know. And in America, we have a typical, change of guard happening. Benjamin Netanyahu is preparing for something big, which he is not indicated. He has got all the powers from the Knesset or the parliament, which we call it, to do whatever he needs. As I told you, there has been already a dispute between the strategic affairs minister of Israel, and the defense minister of Israel, saying that, look, this is not what we are supposed to, and this is not what was supposed to happen. And in the meanwhile, there are a lot of charges which are put on Israelis. Now, today we have seen a lot of cases, some Israeli soldiers, when they were in a war, they have gone to Brazil, some have gone somewhere else. So what these people are doing, Iran and its proxies, they are managing to get police complaints done about them. Because Israel has uploaded a lot of videos. Like, I'm a soldier, I uploaded a video in Gaza, or somebody, or IDF uploaded. So these videos are being used, and they are being termed as war criminals, killing people and innocents and women and children, and using the powerful lobbies and these legal firms and all. She said they are getting cases registered everywhere in the world. So if a person travels there, so he can be even arrested. An Israeli soldier can be even arrested based on these complaints. Now, even there was one of a few soldiers which were caught in Brazil that we evacuated by Israel. Now, what is happening is that Israel has issued an advisory to its soldiers where to travel, where not to travel, how not to travel, how much to reveal, how much not to reveal. And so they are trying to take it to the next Israeli soldiers, so that for Israelis, even traveling across the world would become very, very, very difficult. So there are incidents which have happened in Europe, there are incidents which have happened in Brazil, there are incidents which are happening everywhere in the world. So this is another kind of hit back Israel strategy, which they are kind of operating. And with it, we have a clock ticking. Now, if Iran has a bomb, Saudi said we need a bomb. So, and Pakistan is exactly looking for this opportunity. So with this clock ticking, and now who blinks first? Is it Iran? Is it Donald Trump? Is it Joe Biden? Is it Israel? What exactly is the big plan? What exactly are they doing? Now, I'm very sure there are a couple of plans which are in motion. Which of them will be put into action? That is something which has to be contemplated. And now we have a scenario that even going very near to Israeli border, or very near to American aircraft carriers and all, very near coming to the Israeli shores, might not be a very safe option, because As per Houthis, they have recently hit a Haifa port and they've hit a power station there, which again changes the paradigms here because now their hitting capability has enhanced. So overall in Middle East, there's a lot of turmoil, there's a lot of tensions, and there are a lot of conflicting interests. People are trying a lot of things. And what I fear is there will be a time very soon when Trump will realize all these people are making a fool out of me. There's no hostages, they are dead, they are alive, we don't know. And if that thing happens and Americans step into the Middle East, and we have Turkish troops entering Syria, which Haqqan threatens us. You have Iran, along with Iranian Republican Guard, along with the Iranian army doing the biggest ever exercise to protect its assets, which is helped by IRGC, Islamic Revolutionary Guard, where army is number 2. So with these things happening, and Iran has a good amount of submarines, but they make noise as a tractor, and China playing its own games. China is playing its own games, which we'll cover tomorrow. And so you have a very peculiar situation. You have Sree Iyer, which represents Trump and his thought process in Qatar. You have Anthony Blinken, who represents Joe Biden and his thought process. Both are staying in Qatar. And I am Qatar. And what I am going to do, there was a small story which we read in Hindi. You know, there was a monkey who was trying to settle a dispute between the two cats. Yeah. So he used to always take a bite. Okay, is this more? By the time, basically, the crux of the story is when the two cats were fighting, monkey had all the bread to himself, and both the cats were left high and dry. So is it Anthony Blinken and Sree Iyer doing the same in Qatar? And trust me, Qataris are fully capable of doing this. Qatar is the only country which supports all terrorist organizations. Amidst Shia Sunni, they support everybody. So is this what Qataris are trying to do? Or is something really going to happen? I think when I look at Benjamin Netanyahu sending both the guys, I think he's giving it a shot. Okay, I'll send both my guys, see what if something can be worked out. Because he wants to go back to Trump tomorrow and say, look, buddy, you told me to send both the guys, I did it. And usually the Israeli protocol is not to send, never to set Shin Bet chief and Mossad chief on the same place. They will never send it. Does not happen in the history. That is why this needs to be approved by the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu himself. If Netanyahu would be figuring it out, as you know, it's very, very almost done. He has approved it. So that means it is the last attempt to broker peace. If the peace is not done, then there will be alternates which will be in place. So we have Trump trying to meet him. Then we have a fire. Then we have these immigrants. Then we have these Houthis. Then we have these came with the missile. And then we have these our Arab games being played. We have these Turkish guys, and we have Julani, and we have these all kinds of characters. If you could imagine, if you could make them Iron Man, He-Man, and Hulk and all, and you could write a big series on Marvel Comics. And there are two people which have to be watched in Middle East now: Fidan Haqqan, Abachi, and one person whom you have to give very, 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 very focused attention on. That is Fattah al-Sisi in Egypt. Because Fattah al-Sisi is a good guy, but he has a lot of internal pressures. How does Egypt behave in this scheme of things is still to be contemplated. But things are changing fast in Middle East. And what happens next, we don't know. Maybe by tomorrow morning, we're thinking of doing this, our endgame series, China episodes. But maybe tomorrow morning, something else has happened. So we might have to just drop that and go to something else. Let's hope and pray that we are safe in the world we live in. But for the first time, I am feeling that some politicians, at least in the world, have betrayed their salt and earth. My critic.
Thank you so much, Sumitji. A small request to all of you to like this video. This should be getting much more eyeballs than what it is getting, and your like would really help it reach very, very lofty heights. Now let's take some questions. Rajat Rana wants to know, California homeowners are going to be asked to pay for debris cleanup. We're already paying for debris cleanup, Rajat Rana ji. 40% higher insurance rate this year. And no mistake on our part. We didn't get sick. We didn't have any new accidents, car ke liye. Nothing went wrong in the house. So even the home insurance has gone up. I don't know where to go find money for all these things. And you guys are not liking enough. That's another problem.
I know where. You know where? Brunei. The Sultan seems to have a lot of money. Sree said, let's pick up a helicopter.
Next one, please. Next one, please. Manoj Soma wants to know, sir, in English, low is word used to say lost or don't have anything. But in India, we say Congress, sir. Throw some light on 𝗏𝗏𝗏 and government office has removed for saying the truth. I don't know what is HICL.
I have no
Is it
idea.
Himachal? Himachal probably.
I have no idea what is HICL. So you have to reframe your question, Manoj.
Yeah. Let's go to the next one. Magnet Ranga wants to know, can Trump revoke some of the pardons granted by Biden?
No. I think to best of my knowledge.
Next one, please.
No. Done.
Next
Hunter
one,
Biden
please.
is out.
Yeah. Next one, please. That's why they do it, because they know that they can get a pardon anyway. Suresh Kumar wants to know, can we expect a pact between Trump and Putin to end the war in return for Russia pulling out of Syria?
That can be one of the considerations. I have been trying to bring it up because there was some deal between Russia and Trump. Because, for this Israel to be safe and for, because if Russians were there and helping Assad, Iran's one of the strongest proxies would be there. Russians went out. That is why IRGC did not dare to enter Syria, because they know they will be sandwiched between Americans and the Israelis. So if they had Russia with them, they would have dared to do it, because if Russia is out, they never wanted to become the cannon fodder. I explained that in one of the episodes. That's why they chose not to enter Syria. And when they chose not to enter Syria, that was the end of Bashar. And Bashar is ended one of the another proxies after Hezbollah of Iran is cut. So, there was possibly something which was communicated to Putin and obviously in return of that.
Next one, please. Lakshan wants to know, why can't grass management be done? Lakshan, it's not so easy. These are very big forests, and it costs a lot of money to do this stuff. Usually what they do is they don't allow, they make some, bald patches so that the grass, fire will not spread along by the grass. But if you're having 85 miles per hour winds, that is 150 kilometers per hour. That is 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 bowling at you. It's very difficult to stop. It will jump these areas. The fire will jump these areas. So this is a really bad fire. Is all I can say. That they could not have engineered it. Next one, please. Bobji Krishnan wants to know, Trump's favorable policies will be reversed after 4 years unless like-minded people like Vivek or 𝗠𝚢𝗏 become the president. What do you think? I think the first one would be Jim Vance. Okay, JD Vance, go ahead.
I think JD Vance has the same thought process as Trump. And if whoever comes after Trump must follow same kind of a thought process, because that is the benchmark. It can be Vivek, it can be 𝗠𝚢𝗏, it can be Vance, it can be anybody. But that is the thought process which has to, because that thought process of that ideology wins you the votes, gives you the chance to rule. Amidst having 1.5 million illegal immigrants in US, Democrats could still not make it. That speaks volumes.
Next one, please. VK wants to know, is this part of Agenda 30, Build Back Better and Smart LA by 2028?
Sree sir will answer that. I have no idea.
LA is a concrete jungle. I think from the northernmost suburbs to the southernmost suburbs, you are talking about 200 kilometers of densely packed area of people living there. What has happened is only 3 boroughs. 3 boroughs means like mohallas, Pratapganj, all that, Karol Bagh or Kailash, whatever, Kailash Colony, something like that, right? So something like that. So that doesn't mean that the entire LA is going to be, pulled down and built back up. That's impossible. It's too expensive. So I don't think so. This was not a planned one. I mean, you can't plan fire, arson, and things of that nature. It's
no.
If somebody tried to do that, that's terrible. Terrible. Next one, please. Nirav, thank you so much. Some countries will expand their land next year. Should we also go for expansion? And yes, which country should we take? If you ask me, Bangladesh.
I think I'll tell you something very interesting. Last time when there was a war of Israel and Lebanon, so much of pounding of Lebanon happened. They collected all the rubble and put it in the sea and made it a good seafront city, which is one of the prime properties in Lebanon today. Now, after this war, Lebanon is thinking of putting all the rubble in the sea and making one more seafront. So my idea is, let's not increase the land by that. Bangladesh is what we have to liberate. It doesn't have to be our territory. We have to liberate for the Hindus, and it doesn't have to be our territory. But yes, wherever our territories are pending, there should be always a resolve to get them back as soon as possible. And all those islands which we have gifted to our beautiful neighbors, they should be taken back.
Next one, please. Peter Ramkishan, thank you so much. 𝗟𝗡𝗙𝗏 Tejas wants to know, it's not possible for America to use force to get Greenland as per international law. But if he does it, what can the international community do? Will that not encourage China?
Look, there's a bit of a technicality here. Greenland is an autonomous region which Denmark claims that it's a part of our territory, and we have some kind of a pact with them. What Donald Trump is saying, if there's a pact, show me which is that pact, because it's believed that there is no pact. Secondly, Denmark says it's the people of Greenland who will determine where they want to be, not America. So, in a way, Denmark is not completely saying no, but they are not saying yes also. Thirdly, the use of military is an option if you have Russia and China, putting their anchors there. If their boats are anchoring there, if their ships are anchoring there, and if there's a military buildup happening there, that will give Trump all the reasons to legitimately do a military takeover if it is necessary, because that is what the situation demands. If there is no Russian or American or national security threat, then a military takeover is as a hostile and aggressive takeover, and world will not take it lined up. But if there's an American and a Chinese visible threat, in that perspective, in that situation, a military takeover is a possible option which can't be ruled out.
Next one, please. Kushanand Keshavji wants to know, Sreeji, how can one forget Monica Lewinsky? Clinton continued to be the president, almost close to getting impeached. Why was there no mistrial in Trump's case? Dems need a chance to attack Trump. Well, like I said, they're going to keep saying convicted felon President Trump said, convicted felon President Trump flew, things like that. You just have to lump it and keep going, that's all. And Trump could act even more harder and work even faster. Who knows? This can egg him on.
Correct, and we only know one Monica Lewinsky. It's believed to be there are endless names like that. And what I always keep on joking to the people, I say Hillary Clinton got award because of the two things. One is for Benghazi, and second is keeping silent about her husband's sex scandals. So that's a big from a woman to expect, right? And because I pity her, because after some point of time she would have given up, saying, "Arey bhai, how many?" It's like those unmanned gunmen eliminating people in Pakistan. After some time, we've given up the count. Even she must have given up the count. How many can we count?
Next one, please. Known sniper wants to know, Namaskaram Sumitji and Sreeji, is there a connection between abduction of supposed Pakistani nuclear scientists and Iran likely to go critical? Are they linked? Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
I think Iran, if you look at it, it's TTP which has done is TTP has claimed the responsibility. TTP is not in good terms with Iran. They will not do it for Iran. What Iran right now is where it is, that it needs a little bit of enrichment of uranium, and it needs a triggering mechanism which is a bit crass. And Israel has destroyed their facility of theirs. So by taking out these Pakistani scientists and abducting them in broad daylight and making them to work for them will not solve the problem. It will be inventing a lot of trouble to knock their doors. So it is basically 𝗟𝗡𝗙𝗏 Pakistan. But is Pakistan capable of sneaking some things critical for Iran's nuclear bomb? Yes, they are. Have they been doing it? Possibly, yes. Can they do it? Of course they will. So these are all the possible answers for that.
Next one, please. Jagmeet Batra wants to know, Sumitji, Egypt will never attack Israel because 𝗥𝗙𝗏 is not a fool. Secondly, he is a friend of Bharat and he knows where he should stand. Thirdly, he will never antagonize US.
Brother, I'm not talking of Fatah al-Sisi. I told you he's a good guy. In Egypt, there's a lot of power in Muslim Brotherhood. There's a lot of Mullah brigade which is out there. So when these people do stupid things, you see, MBS is a good guy. But if MBS does something stupid, it's because of the pressure. King Abdullah is a good guy, but if he does something, it's under brute pressure. So in these Islamic republics, the pressure of the people, if channeled properly through mullahs and maulanas, if they get channelized people of the pressure of the people properly, they can rout these regimes. So that is where the challenge is. It's not in China, it's the man. In China, I always attack Xi Jinping. He's the crazy one. Here it is this mullah maulanas who shape the public opinion and channelize in a way which can be detrimental for your survival. So that is, in that perspective, it can happen. And remember, in these countries, Israel is the only democracy where an election happens. All other countries, either it is selection by elimination or selection by demise. The last man passes, the new man takes over, or elimination. So anything can happen. There's no election, brother. Koi election nahi hai. Elimination.
Sendil Kumar wants to know, will Trump do the best for India, especially Bangladesh?
Trump will do what happens for American interest. He will consider Indian interest also, but not Indian interest over our American interest. But yes, if you can cut a deal with Trump, which is big enough, he can do anything for you, including in Bangladesh. But Trump is a businessman. He has a very logical thought process. What do I get out of it? You have to think what you can give out of this. If that's appealing and compelling enough, you're talking to a go-getter.
Next one, please. 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗿 𝗤𝗏 wants to know, Sree, no lifting of leaves was done in forest lands as per report, as funds were shelved by 17 million to fire department. Yeah, I told you, right? I showed you a picture. 100 million was withdrawn. Well, now you can blame, point fingers, what have you. People who have lost homes. Many are now camping in this bitter cold outside. It's very, very sad.
I think, sir,
No fault of theirs.
Looking at the fires, looking at the quantum of fire, usually this quantum of fire is not natural. If it was natural, it would have happened so many times before as well. We know these forest fires, but they have a pattern. They have a radius. But this time it is beating all the imaginations and all the records. And you know what I liked, what you accidentally told, is one place is here, one is here, and one is here. This is the most expensive, and this is the cheapest. Cheapest amongst the expensive, and not the cheapest. So why did fire start here first? You use the water to get the fire here. Now you don't have pressure for the fire to be controlled here. Then it starts here, then it comes here, then it comes here. It doesn't add, right? Logically, if it would have climbed from here to here to here, I understand. It starts here, you put the water here. Now here, this region takes fire. Then the wind takes it here and here. You already have fire here. Too many coincidences, huh?
Next one, please. Sendil Kumar wants to know, why no invitation to Modi for Trump oath-taking ceremony?
There are a lot of things in geopolitics which are never said and never told. Let's see who all are invited. Once we have the list finally and officially out, then we know. As I told you, the Xi Jinping might be invited, or was possibly, I think he has declined it, was possibly basically to humiliate him. Imagine Xi Jinping is sitting there, they made him to sit in the cold.
Well, there's an update on that. You finish your thing and I'll tell you the update.
And you know, then you start talking about anti-China policies and tariffs on China. Imagine how will Xi Jinping look. So, you know, always invitation may not be for all the good reasons. She said.
You know, Sumit, what happened is that now Xi Jinping is thinking of sending a delegation to attend the inauguration. खुद तो नहीं आ सकते, because he said no. मैंने क्या कर दिया? Go, you go.
I told you, because you know what my thought process, they will make him wait in the winter. Huh? The Chinese emperor will be waiting on a chair. Then Trump will come, and you know Trump is unpredictable. He might say 2 or 3 things. He will be just this thing. All the cameras of the world will be looking at his face, and you know how difficult it will be for him. So it's to put him in a very tight spot. कहते हैं हिंदी में कहते हैं घर में बुला के जूता मारना. You call somebody to home, then take out your juta. So first day I told you, sir, he will not come.
Next one, please. Known Sniper wants to know, Sree, California fires are due to democratic karma. Jai Bharat. Known Sniper, you know, there are some very inept officials running LA also. And all I can tell you is, if Karen Bass, who's the mayor of LA, resigns, And of course, Mr. 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏 will have something to do with this too. This is not a problem that was created in one day. So who knows? A lot of people can be blamed now after the fact. So I think that brings us to a close of today's program, sir. Let's take the Ashirwad of Mahadev.
Sure. And before leaving, I have to tell you, tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, we're meeting on China, some of the sensational revelations. Do stay tuned. And as usual, I have to appeal to you. Please like, share, and subscribe. That is what YouTube wants us to do. And that is how you can help our cause and keep us motivated enough to keep on doing the hard work. On that note, and that assumption, you are going to do this like, sir, you can have your coffee later, sir. Like, ma'am, dinner can wait. This is just chota sa button, this is present. Now more have come. Now I can see more have come. No, don't tell me how do I see. I can see more have come. So on that note, I want to thank you all. Bharat Mata ki jai, Vande Mataram, and Har 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 Mahadev.
Mahadev.
𝗤𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏